Right. I'm going to start this video off with a little story about when I very first started in my career as a junior web developer. So I'm going to take you back a few years, and I am fresh, brand new developer, never done the job before, and I'm sat down with the head developer at the agency that I got taken on by. And at this point, I know absolutely nothing. I'm still very green, I'm still very wet between the ears, and I'm still very, very aware at this point that I literally know absolutely nothing about designing and building websites. That's the joys of being a junior developer. So, sits down with the head developer, and he'd been in the game for a long time at this point, obviously, and he told me something that day that has stuck with me and has lived rent-free in my mind ever since. And what he said was, anyone claiming in this industry to know it all is an absolute liar. Now, pretty strong language from him, I know, but it definitely landed with me what he said that day, and it's actually shaped how I work, how I think, and also how I run my business right up to this very point today. Now, there's something interesting that happens when you start out in your career or in your business, and at the beginning you know that you don't know anything at all, and you're kind of expecting to learn, you're expecting to ask questions, you're expecting to sit back and listen, and every day at that point really does feel like a school day. Now, somewhere along the line, something does shift in your head, and you start to get competent, you start to obviously get paid more, people start trusting you more, clients start actually listening to you. And at that point in time, quietly, without noticing a lot of the time, it's easy to slip into this mindset of, I've got it cracked now, I've got it all sorted, I know it all. And for me, at that point in time, that's when you've kind of hit the danger zone, because as soon as you think you've got it all figured out, that's usually the time when you stop paying any sort of attention to things. And in all honesty, that sentence from my old boss did something really, really important for me that day. Now, it didn't make me feel insecure, it didn't make me start second guessing myself. It actually did the complete opposite, and what it did was it gave me permission at that point in time to never have to pretend. I didn't have to feel like I needed to act like I knew all the answers, or to feel embarrassed about learning out loud, or never feeling behind just because I was still figuring things out. And quite honestly, that mindset has been one of the biggest assets for me in running my own business on my own, because the thing about running your business solo is you never get to specialise forever. You're not just a developer, you're not just a consultant, you're not just a marketer. When you're running your own business, you literally have to wear every single hat within the business. You're the salesperson, you're the person responsible for marketing, you're the person who delivers the work, you're responsible for supporting your clients, for the strategy, you're responsible for keeping this thing in check and keeping your mind in check, and for solving every problem that comes across your table. And more often than not, you're having to do all of that at the same time. And if you come into this world thinking that I should know this by now, or everyone seems to know more than me, or is more confident than me, or I don't want to look stupid asking questions or reaching out for help, you actually make things a million times harder than what it needs to be. So I've always carried this idea that every day is literally a school day, but not in like a cringe way or in a motivational poster type way, but in a very, very practical sense. There's always a sense that there's something that I don't know yet. There's something that I could be doing better. There's something that worked once but might not work forever. And it is especially true when you're on your own, when you've got no team behind you to hide behind, you've got no one handing you the processes or telling you what to do. There's no senior above you saying that this is the right way to do things. You're literally figuring it out in real time. And that's not a weakness. It's just part and parcel of the job and of running a business. And let me tell you right now, I am still very much figuring this running a business game out, even 4 years on. And what actually worries me sometimes is how confident everyone sounds online, where everyone's got a framework, or everyone's got a system, or everyone's got that one thing that you're missing. And if you're not careful, it is easy to start thinking that the goal is to arrive at this mythical point somewhere off in the future where you finally know it all. But the point where you think the uncertainty stops, or where the questions dry up, or where the fear is going to disappear. But in my experience, that point never ever really exists. And if it does, I think it's actually the beginning of the end, because the people who stop learning at that point in time are the people who are going to stop adapting. They are the ones who are going to stop listening. They're the ones that are going to stop noticing when things change. They're going to stop questioning their own assumptions. And in business, especially as a solo operator, that is one of the worst things that you can do, because the market's constantly moving, technology's moving, people, your ideal clients, they're always moving. And if your mindset stays fixed, you are going to get left behind very, very quickly. So one of the reasons I am very, very comfortable saying that I'm figuring this all out as I go is because I want to stay teachable. I want to stay curious. I want to stay open-minded. I think the day that I think that I've got this all nailed is the day that I've probably gone wrong. And that's the day that I stop asking better questions. It's the day that I stop experimenting. And it's the day that I stop growing. And look, this isn't about being clueless. You can be confident and curious at the same time. You can be experienced and be open-minded. And I think the sweet spot is knowing what you know, but never assuming that that's the end of the story, because running a solo business has really reinforced this for me over and over and over again. Every time that I set a new goal, it exposes new gaps. Every time I level up, it introduces new problems for me to solve. Every bit of progress creates new uncertainty. And instead of seeing that as some sort of a sign that I'm failing, I'm actually seeing that as a sign that I'm still in the game. And fear, confusion, not having all the answers, that usually means that you are actually doing something that really matters. And that's why I'm comfortable saying this out loud. I'm not going to become the person who knows it all. I want to be the person who keeps learning, the person who stays adaptable, the person who stays humble enough to change my mind when I need to, and the person who isn't embarrassed to say, look, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing, I haven't got the answers, because that mindset has taken me further in my business than confidence ever has or ever will do. So if you're running a solo business or thinking about it or already well in the thick of it, here's my takeaway from this. If you feel like you're still figuring things out, that's really good. If you feel like every year forces you to relearn things, that's really good. And if you feel like certainty keeps slipping out of reach, that's completely and utterly normal. The danger isn't not knowing. The danger is thinking that you've finished learning. And literally that sentence, I'll go back to it from years ago, still holds true, that anyone claiming to know it all really is a liar. And I'll happily stay a student for as long as this game keeps changing, which it most definitely will. And if you've not done so already, do me a favour and subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on the video or a comment below. And I'll see you on the next video. Ta-da!